episode number 174.
Hello, you're listening to the Career Changemaker podcast. Having the courage to leave a career that you have worked hard to build and try something else can be tough. So in each episode, we dive into key career change strategies so that you have a clear understanding of what is required to transition into a new role or a new industry without feeling like you have to start at the bottom or have to take a massive pay cut, because #ain't nobody got time for that. If you are ready for frank and honest discussions about how to become a career change maker, keep listening. I'm your host, lawyer turned career strategist and executive coach, Janine Esbrand. Hello. How are you? How my career changed for the better post COVID-19 lockdown. I want to share with you because a lot of what I've experienced, I feel like is relevant for people that I have been speaking to and people who are considering making a career move right now. We've all been hearing about the movement that's happening in the marketplace. We've been hearing about the great resignation, the great reshuffle, and the fact that a lot of people are considering making moves, or a lot of people are on the verge of making moves. And there are some who really want to, but aren't quite sure what they should be doing or how they should go about it. And before I dive in, I'm super excited because I have just opened up enrollment on my group coaching program. And I was thinking about the journey that I've been on over the past year since leaving my legal career of 10 years. And I decided that this coming cohort of the program, the May cohort of the program, I'm really going to be inviting lawyers to come and join me, because the lawyers that come through the program, the lawyers that I speak to, definitely can do with some support with making sure that their next move is the best move for them and figuring out how they can readjust and re-navigate their careers. So if that is you, if you're a lawyer and you have been in your role for some time, if you're over 5 years PQE and you know that where you are right now is not working for you and you're trying to figure out what kind of transition you need to make and how you can go about making a transition, then I invite you to book a call with me. Let's have a conversation and see whether or not the program would be a good fit for you in helping you to move forward in a way that doesn't require you to take a massive pay cut or start at the bottom, but in a way where you can feel like you're in control of the direction of your career and you can really move towards having the impact that you want to be having the fulfillment that you want to be having, and getting paid well at the same time. If those things are important to you in your career right now, then book a call with me. As I was reflecting the other day on the journey that I've been on over the last year, so I decided this time last year to go full-time in my business. So we've had our 1-year anniversary of being full-time in my business. But prior to that, I was in a position where I had a portfolio career. So I was practicing as a lawyer, and I was also running my coaching practice on the side. So I was enjoying it. I was enjoying doing both. There's various things that I liked about being a lawyer, and I love coaching, and I was able to combine the two. But what happened in COVID, in the midst of COVID, in the height of the pandemic, when we were in lockdown, is I realized that having a portfolio career and homeschooling 2 children wasn't really going to work. So I found myself, there were some days where I would be working on contracts, and then I'd have to switch focus and jump on a coaching call, and then I'd have to switch focus and I'd have to help my 2 young children with work for school, and it all got a bit much. And as with everybody, we had time to think and reflect during lockdown, and I was asking myself the hard questions. What do I really want to be doing with my career next? Yes, I have got to this point, and yes, I made decisions to get here, but where do I want to go next? And I really came to a point where I had to decide, am I going to go all in with my legal career, or am I going to focus on the business, because I didn't have capacity to continue to do both? And whilst it was a hard decision, I decided to go all in on my business. And I want to talk to you a little bit around why and how I made the decision. So what I recognized was, as I was thinking about, should I go, should I not? Should I stay, should I not? In terms of my legal role, a lot of things that were coming up for me were around the shoulds. So I was saying, well, I should stay within my legal career because I've invested 10 years to get here. Or I should stay because I know I can see that I can grow and I can develop within this role that I'm in. Or I should stay because I have the financial stability and our lifestyle is set up because, salary, right? There was all of these shoulds that were coming up for me. There was the reputation piece, what are people going to think and what are people going to say? And I have this status as a lawyer. There were all of these things that were coming up. But what I realized is all the shoulds were not enough, because yes, I could stay, and yes, I could continue, and yes, I could do all those things. But was that what I really wanted to do? Was that what I really wanted to do? And when I started to think about what type of impact do I want to make through the career that I have, and how do I want to be supporting people, I recognized that staying where I was wasn't really going to do it for me. Staying where I was would satisfy a lot of the shoulds and would meet some of the expectations of other people, and would make me feel like, yeah, I'm on the path that I started on, so I should continue on it. But it wasn't really going to allow me to show up in a way that I wanted to. And it wasn't really going to allow me to carve out a career that I was happy to do in this season of my life. And so letting go of the shoulds was not easy. I will tell you, it was not easy, but it felt like the right thing to do. It felt like if I rationalize it out, and I absolutely could do that, I could use all the logic to say this is where I should stay, or I could just trust myself and trust that in this season of life, this is where I need to go in my career. So if you're a lawyer yourself, and if you have been having some of those same conversations with yourself, I totally get it, because the reality is the time that has been invested, the energy that has been invested, the desire to continue to have intellectual stimulation is understandable. And when you brainstorm alternative career paths, it's probably likely that there isn't much that's coming up for you where you can say, yeah, I can see how that's going to work. And so what ends up happening is you're trying to look at alternatives, but the alternatives don't seem viable. And so because the alternatives feel viable, you backtrack and you're saying, well, I probably just need to stay where it is that I am right now. And I know that from working with lots of unhappy lawyers, that even when reevaluating things, and even when saying, I don't want to do what I'm doing right now, I would love to go and do something else, or I would love to explore something else, the reality is your legal career is very sticky. And when I say sticky, what I mean by that is there are a lot of reasons why you will feel like you need to stay where you are. There are a lot of reasons why thinking about making a complete career change feels too big. It feels too much. It feels impossible. And so what I want to highlight... Hey, I am interrupting this episode to let you know that applications are now open for the Career Changemaker program. If you are a lawyer and you know that where you are right now is not working for you, and you want to figure out what the next best move is for you and how to strategically position yourself for a new opportunity without having to take a pay cut, without having to start at the bottom, you need to be in this cohort, because the May cohort is really going to be dedicated to supporting lawyers. And the reason why I want to do that is it's 1 year since I left my legal career. It's 1 year since I fully went into what it is that I want to do. And it's been a brilliant journey. And I want to support as many professional women as I can, and particularly lawyers, in this May cohort of this program. So if that's you, as you're listening to this, if you know that you want to be making a move and you've been procrastinating around it, you haven't been sure how to move forward, or you've been trying to move but it's not working, then go and make your application. Head over to www.careerchangemakers.com/CCM program. That's www.careerchangemakers.com/CCM program. Submit your application. I will review it, and then you will be invited to go through a career change assessment that's going to help you to see where you need to be focusing your energies, and we will determine whether or not the program is a good fit for you. Okay, so go make your application. It isn't an either or. It isn't I have to stay in the role that I'm in right now, even though I'm not feeling happy or fulfilled, or I have to ditch everything I've worked hard for and go and do something completely different. It doesn't have to be that stark in terms of a contrast. It doesn't have to be, I need to leave everything that I know and I need to run off and do something else that feels really risky and I don't really know if it's going to work out. There is a lot in between. There is a big middle ground in between that. And that's what I want to talk about. If you are feeling unfulfilled in your role right now, if you're feeling like what you're doing right now is not where you want to stay or not where you want to be, there's opportunity for you to reevaluate what it is that you're doing. There's opportunity for you to think about a different way of doing things. And it might be that all that is required of you is to shift into a different role or a different environment, or maybe step up into a new level within your role. Or you might need to make a slight pivot where you continue to do what you're doing right now, but you do it in a slightly different way. Too often, I feel like when people are talking about making a career change, you're thinking about a radical career change. You're thinking about going from over here to doing something completely different. But there's lots of ways to change your career. There's lots of ways to change your career, even within the role that you're in right now. There's changes and shifts that you can make within your role right now that could make a difference to how you feel about your role. That can make a difference to the type of impact that you're making in your role on a day-to-day basis. So when I was thinking about this, there's an analogy that came to mind. I was thinking about what happens when you are driving in your car and you have your sat nav on, you have your GPS on, and you're driving. You're going to a destination that you kind of have an idea where it is, but you don't know exactly where it is. And you're driving and the sat nav is taking you on your journey. And you get to a place where there's a road that you're supposed to take, but that road is closed. What happens? Or you get to a place where you kind of take a slightly different turning than the one you were supposed to take. What happens? There's opportunity to be re-navigated, right? But if you're on your journey and you are driving and you get to a place where it's like, oh, I thought I was going to go this way, I can't go this way, what will you do? Will you drive all the way back home and then start your journey again? No. What you will do is you will redirect. You'll find another way to get to your destination. And I think all too often when it comes to careers and it comes to you feeling like you're at a crossroads, lots of people will feel like I need to go all the way back. So I don't like where I am right now. I'm not sure about what I've built right now. So therefore, if I'm going to do something different, I'm going to take things in a different direction, I'm going to have to start from the bottom. I'm going to have to go and figure out what else I want to do. And I'm going to have to start from the bottom, which is going to mean I have to take a pay cut, which is going to mean I'm going to have to retrain. And that's all too much for me. And so I'm not going to do anything. But the reality is you don't have to start from the beginning, or you don't have to go from the bottom. You don't have to go all the way back home. You can decide, I'm going to redirect. So instead of focusing on, okay, is it even possible for me to make a move? The focus can go to, how can I make a move from where I am now in a way that allows me to leverage all of the experience and expertise that I have? How can I re-navigate? How can I reposition myself so that I'm using what I already have, but I'm able to move into a role that allows me to feel like I'm using all of my strengths. I'm leveraging my strengths, that I'm using my expertise, that I'm making the impact that I want to make. I think that as lawyers, we're often wired to work hard. We work the long hours, we work under pressure, we do all of these things, and we do it because we are conditioned to believe that hard work equals success. Hard work equals success. And if I've made a commitment to something, I need to keep working hard at it so that I can achieve success. But sometimes the definition of success changes on the journey. So what you deem to be success when you first started out on your career, as life has been happening and as life has been evolving and moving forward, that benchmark of success has probably changed. So I know for me that happened when I had children. What I wanted for my career before, I wanted to make partner and I wanted to keep driving forward and I wanted to get to the top. That motivation shifted once I had my children. And there were other things that I valued and there were other things that are a priority. So when you're thinking about, well, I've decided on this path and I've got to stay on this path. And if I keep working hard and I keep pushing forward and I keep going at it, I'm going to get to where it is I want to get to. The question is, are you still moving towards the right destination? Or is it time for you to recalibrate? Because sometimes when you're looking at making a move in your career, we can be focused so much on the role, right? It's like, okay, I'm not happy here. Maybe I need to move to a different law firm. Maybe I need to move in-house. Maybe I need to go and do something else. But sometimes there's not enough attention paid to what identity shifts have happened for you on a personal level. Like, who are you now? Are you the same version of you that you were when you first started out in your career or when you first started out in this role? If not, maybe we need to pay attention to who are you right now so that you can move into a role that is well aligned to who you are as a person, how you show up and the strengths that you bring. It's really easy to assign a lot of emphasis on the title that we have, the status that we have, the impression that other people have of us, but that's all external stuff. That's all external stuff. And at the end of the day, when you go home and you're having dinner with your spouse or your partner or your family, and you're complaining about how frustrated you feel or how annoyed you are or how misaligned you feel in the role that you're in, That's your life that you're living on a day-to-day basis. So all of the externals don't really matter if on a day-to-day basis you feel like where you are right now is not where you need to be. And if you feel that way, just know that you don't have to stay feeling that way. When I was trying to juggle everything and I was like, well, I can do it. I should do it. I should keep moving forward. I recognize that where I am right now in this season of life, it's not really working. It's not really working. And if it's not working, what are we going to do about it? If it's not working, it's about considering doing things differently. So when I had the time in the pandemic to really pause and really think and allow myself to explore what alternatives could look like, I guided myself through the data method. And the data method is really about looking at defining exactly what it is you want to do with your career next. It's about aligning who you are as a person and what your expectations are to the vision that you now have. It's about creating a transition plan. How are you going to move out of the role that you're in right now towards what it is that you really want to do? And then it's about attracting. What opportunities am I going to be able to attract? How am I going to position myself in the marketplace so that I can get to where it is that I want to get to? And when you think about the data method, that there are those elements of it, but ultimately, if you are making career decisions without really looking at the data, you're just moving forward on the legal career treadmill that we're all on, or that we all start on, without taking stock. It's so easy when you are a professional to be on a trajectory and to follow the path that is laid out for you. Put in the time, do the work, gain the experience, get promoted. Put in the time, do the work, gain the experience, get promoted. Put in the time, do the work, gain the experience, get promoted. And you're doing that, and you're going, and you're working long hours, and you're really busy, and you're working under pressure. And so oftentimes you don't have the time to take stock. You don't have the time, so you just keep going. And that is why the great resignation and the great reshuffle is happening right now, because people had time that they didn't have before during the pandemic to say, hold on a minute, I've been doing this for so long, and I've just been doing it because I've always done it. But I've now experienced a different way of being and living and slowing all the way down. And now I want to assess, is this how I want to do things moving forward? And it makes total sense that those are the questions that people have been asking. And so now for you, it's about, well, what do I do with that? If those are the questions that I'm asking, what answers am I getting to determine what steps I need to take next? And the reason why I titled this How My Career Changed for the Better is my career really changed for the better, not just because of what I'm now doing and the fact that I love the work that I do and the clients that I get to work with and the impact that I get to make. It's not just that, but it's more about the alignment piece. It's more about the alignment. I realized that I was moving forward in a way where it wasn't fully aligned to how I show up best. It wasn't fully aligned to what my strengths are or what I can bring to the table or the value that I could bring to the world. And so when I was able to move into a place of first understanding what it is that I wanted to bring to the table and raising my level of awareness about what I could be doing, once I did that, and then I'm able to align that with what my actual path is, I'm able to operate in a different way. I'm able to show up in a way that feels good, in a way that feels aligned, in a way that feels like I'm doing what I should be doing. And so changing for the better happened after I took the time to reflect. Changing my career for the better happened after I took the time to not only reflect, but then make tough decisions. And so for you, if you have found yourself in a cycle of feeling like you want to make a move, and then maybe some things happen at work where things start to feel better, then you're like, okay, I'm going to stay. But then that feeling doesn't last long. And then you're back with, well, I know I want to make a move, but I don't know what I want to do. My invitation to you is pause and take some time to actually reflect on what needs to happen going forward for you to feel the way that you want to feel about your career. We're at work a lot. We are at work a lot. And so just settling for, well, work is work and I'll live for the weekends, in my opinion, is not good enough, because there's so much more that you could be doing through your work on a day-to-day basis if you take stock and then have the courage to kind of change where it is that you are right now so that you can move in a different direction. And I really want to encourage so many more people to step into a place of leadership when it comes to their careers. I have a signature talk where I go into organizations and I talk about being the CEO of your career. I think there's a lot of us who are passive in our careers and allow our careers to happen to us. So it's like, I'm just going to do what I know that that everyone else does when they're in this kind of role. But there is opportunity to stop being passive and start being active. There's opportunity to be intentional and to create the path that you want to be on. And it's really those people who are intentional, who drive things forward, who are willing to do things in a slightly different way, who make the most impact. And who are remembered by other people because they're making impact. So if you are a woman who wants to make more impact through the work that you're doing, if you've been saying, well, the whole reason why I got into my legal career, or the whole reason why I got into my career is that I wanted to make a difference to people and I wanted to help people, and right now I don't feel like I'm doing that. If that's the case, then you have an opportunity to transition to something that allows you to help people and to make a difference and to make an impact and still earn a very, very good salary for yourself. So if you need help, if you need support with figuring out like what your next steps need to be, and you're really open to developing your career intentionally and saying, it's not about like, I just want to throw away everything that I've done, but I do want to develop my career in a way that leads me to a place of feeling fulfilled and happy in the work that I'm doing. If that's you, if you do not want to continue to coast in your career and you're willing to do something different so that you can experience life differently, then I invite you to book a call with me. I am super, super excited about opening the May cohort of my group coaching program and being able to invite women in who are ready to take control of their careers truly and step into roles that they didn't even think were possible. We have lots of examples of clients who have gone through our process, the career change maker process, that's allowed them to boost their confidence and understanding of themselves, that's allowed them to get clarity on where they want to go and then put things in place so they can transition and land opportunities that are perfect. And I know like nothing's perfect, but when I say perfect, I mean it in the sense of so aligned to them as a person, so aligned to what it is that they want to be doing. So I know that it's possible. And I'm super excited about having another group of ladies that I can support through this process. It is an application only program because I want to make sure that one, I can help the people that are coming in. I don't just want to take your money. I want to support and make sure that the program and the way that we designed it is a good fit for what you're trying to achieve in your career right now. And two, it's a small group coaching program. So I love to curate a community of women who are of the same mindset, who have similar goals, who are able to drive things forward together and support one another. So, okay, that's all I want to share right now. Take care. Bye. If you enjoyed today's conversation, be sure to subscribe to the show so that you don't miss any future episodes. Also, I would love to know what your biggest takeaway has been from today's episode. Come over and join us in our Career Changemakers community over on LinkedIn so that you can join the conversation there. Head over to lightboxcoaching.com/community and it will take you right to the group. I look forward to seeing you.